I wanted to share an allegory, and this is a shipwreck in the middle of an ocean. And there's a crowd of people with life vests on that are floating in the water after the ship had sunk. Going to their destination, they had an accident and their ship started to sink. And so now these people are stranded in the middle of the ocean. And for the simplicity of the story, we'll just say that it's going to be a dozen people. And so as these people are in the water, some of them are hopeful that there's going to be somebody to come and rescue them. And there's other people that believe that, you know what, no matter what, we need to figure out something while we're here. We need to do something. We can't just sit here in the water. And one of the people happens to see this shadowy figure out in the far, far distance. I mean, it's very vague. But from the rest of the ocean, the horizon, they can see something, you know, a little bit of an outline of an island or land, something. Could be a ship, they don't know at this point. But one guy says, look, I think that might be an island. We need to swim. We need to do everything we can to get out of this water. And half of those people say, no, that's not an island. They look at the same thing, but what they see is a vague image. They're not sure because it's not clear to them that it's actually an island. They don't want to use their imagination. They go off of logic. You know, that might be a mirage. So you might be swimming out into the ocean, reaching nothing. And we don't even know how far that island is. So it's best to just stay right here and wait for somebody to rescue us. We're expecting somebody. And the other half says, no, we got to make a try. If they come for you, let us know. Let them know that we're swimming in that direction. And if we find the island, we'll have somebody come out to you guys. And they said, okay. And so in this allegory, the people they're sitting in the ocean that don't want to make an effort, that don't want to struggle. They don't want to feel tired. They're comfortable where they're at with their life vests on, just floating in the water. Those are the people that are waiting for a rescue. I used to be one of those people in this allegory. The type of person that was comfortable with my lifestyle. Just sitting there in the water, waiting for somebody to give me something. And eventually, I became one of the swimmers, one of the ones that said, you know what, I want to change. I want to see some kind of progress. I don't want to just sit here in the water and do nothing. So in this story, 6 people are swimming towards this shadowy figure of an island that they see in the horizon. And they continue swimming. And as they're swimming, this is far away. Let's say it's 2 miles away. As they're swimming, they're sweating, they're drinking, they're taking big gulps of that salty water. They're feeling dehydrated. They're feeling their muscles spasming, sore, tired, breathing hard as they're swimming. But they don't stop. They keep going. They keep going. And they realize how that island is far away. But as they get closer, they actually see that there is an island. And it gives them hope. And they're like, you know what, just keep swimming. Keep swimming. And they do that. As tired as they are, they keep swimming because they know if they stay there, they may not be rescued. Something could happen. And so they keep swimming. And as they swim, they realize that there's clouds rolling behind them. Like there's a storm coming. And they keep swimming. Now, as they get closer to the island, you have these waves that are coming off of the island, bouncing off. And it's actually pushing them back. And they're so tired that when they're paddling and they're kicking their legs, they're moving so slow, but they're trying, they're gasping for air, still taking in more gulps of water, dehydrated, still going. And out of the 6, 5 of them happen to get too exhausted and they're like, we can't do it no more. And so they start to fall behind. And out of those 5, 2 of them are like, no, that guy's making progress. We need to keep going because the waves are pushing them out. So 2 of them are right behind him. They take a quick break and then they start swimming again. and they don't catch up to the guy, but they're close behind him, and they're going and they're fighting those waves, and they realize that at some point it's so difficult, it's so much struggle, that they're not making any progress. But they see the island, and as they look at the island, they see there's people on there, and the guy that's ahead is saying, "Hey, there's people on the island." And they all start yelling, "Help, help," as tired as they are, gasping for air, still trying to swim. You could only imagine it would sound like a whisper. And so the guy that's in front says, "You know what, if we yell together, maybe somebody will hear us and they'll come out and rescue us." So then they all say 1, 2, or at the count of 3, we're gonna yell help. 1, 2, 3. And they all yell at the same time. They stop swimming for a second. They put their hands up right next to their mouth to make it project, to amplify it. They say, "Help!" And these people on the shore look and they start pointing and say, "Hey, there's somebody there." And they start taking these pieces of bark that have fallen off of the tree and some branches, and they start pushing them out into the ocean, doing everything they can while they're preparing the boat so that the people that are almost to the island can catch this driftwood, these pieces of bark, branches, anything that they can hold on to that help them float. And finally they're able to rest, but they're just kicking their legs, not making any progress. They're pretty close to the island. And the other 3 people that have drifted off, they've given up. They realize that they can't make it. They tried swimming for a little while longer, and they're so tired. They realize it's going to be very difficult to get to where they're at, and we don't have the energy to do it. And they regret not swimming. They regret not being able to make it as far as the other 3 swimmers. So they end up just drifting away, farther and farther away from the island as the storm is rolling in. And finally, the people on the island grab their boat and they start, they start going out to the people, the 3 people that they heard yell, and they're pulling them up. And as they're pulling them up, they're tired. They're trying to convey that there's other people out there. There's like 9 more people. We need to go rescue them. And the storm is already above them. It's already hitting them. It's strong winds, rain, a very difficult situation for a small boat to drive into. So they say, "I'm sorry, but we can't go back over there. We might all lose our lives." So then they turn around, they go back to the island, and they call for rescue to rescue the other people. What do you think happened to those other people? And the reason I wanted to share this allegory with you is because these are people that we see every day. There's people that are comfortable where they're at, and they always want a handout. They always want somebody to help them out. They never, or they might a little bit try to do something to change their lives. But for the most part, if they feel any kind of resistance, if they feel any kind of struggle, they stop and they turn around and they say, "You know what, I can't." And then we have people that want change. They desire it. They want to achieve their dreams. They want to reach that island. But as they're going in the journey, they realize how much resistance there is and how difficult it is. And they think to themselves, is it really worth it? All the struggles? What if that island really isn't there? And then they give up, or they want to rest. But then they realize that they've lost the momentum. And when you lose momentum, it's more discouraging. You realize that in order to reach that island, I got to swim twice as hard now, because I've already put in a lot of effort, suffered a lot. Now I know that I have to go through that effort again to get there. Just like the 2 that drifted away just slightly and then kept swimming. Those that swim, that don't stop, that endure the suffering, the struggles, the waves, the resistance, those are the ones that you see today that are successful. Now, if you want to change, if you're an entrepreneur and you see that your path has always been difficult, but when there's resistance, you stop. You need to think, why is it that I'm not able to overcome it? Maybe it's in your mind. So I hope this helps everybody, and I want anybody to comment below. Let me know which one of these people you are in this allegory. There's not a right or wrong answer, but you have to understand that when there's resistance, it's a time to fight, not to rest, not to retreat. The storm in this allegory is actually the recession, the depressions, the times when things get hard, and it gets hard for everybody, except the ones that made it to the island, because they have a way out. They have a way to overcome the recession, the depression. I went through one of the recessions. It was terrible. I had just gotten married, and it was one of the worst times I had ever experienced, and I never want to experience that again. I think that's one of the drives that I have for becoming successful. So I hope this helps anybody out there. I just ask that you comment below. Let me know what you think. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.